Welcome back to Power in the Pause. I'm your host, Chelsea, and this is the space where we slow down, breathe for a second, and remember that sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is pause. Sis, I want to ask you something. When was the last time you did something just because you wanted to? Not because it was an obligation or made you money, not because it made you look productive or like you have it all together. Not because you thought someone else might see it and think, cute or wow, but just because you enjoyed it. Maybe it was taking a walk, reading a book, trying something new, sitting outside with your coffee, going somewhere just because it sounded fun. Okay, now let me ask you another question. When was the last time you did something and didn't immediately think about how you could capture it, share it, or turn it into something? Because I've been thinking about this lately. When did living become performing? And before I go any further, I want to be clear. I'm not creating an episode about hating on social media because, sis, I love a good picture. I love sharing moments. I love celebrating the things that matter to us. I love educating, informing, and connecting. There's absolutely nothing wrong with wanting to remember a beautiful moment or share something you're proud of. But I do think there's a pressure that so many women feel right now to make their lives look a certain way, to always be doing something, always be learning something, always be improving something, becoming someone, making sure the angles are right, the lighting is right. And sometimes I wonder if we've forgotten that a meaningful life doesn't always look exciting from the outside or aesthetically pleasing. Think about how different life feels now compared to even a few years ago. We don't just have experiences anymore, we document them. We don't just go on vacation, we think about all the content and the pictures that we're going to take. We don't just make dinner, we think about whether it's healthy enough, pretty enough, or worth sharing. We don't have just hobbies. Sometimes we feel pressure for our hobbies to become a side hustle. We don't just read books because we enjoy it. Sometimes we feel like we need to be reading the right books and then posting reviews. And listen, none of those things are bad, but when every part of our life starts feeling like it needs to have a purpose, an outcome, or an audience, sis, it's getting exhausting. I think one of the reasons this happens is because our brains are constantly comparing. And comparison itself isn't the enemy. Comparison is actually something our brains do naturally as humans. It's one of the ways we learn where we fit, what we value, and what we want. The problem is that we're now comparing our everyday life to everyone else's highlighted moments. You wake up tired, open your phone, and before you've even had your coffee, you've seen someone's engagement, someone's dream vacation, someone's new house, someone's promotion, someone's perfectly organized kitchen. And your brain doesn't always stop and say, that's just one small moment from someone's life. It's just an edit. Sometimes it just says, everyone's ahead of me. And that can be really powerful in not productive ways. But here's the part I really want to talk with you about because I don't think most women are trying to impress other people. I think a lot of us are trying to prove to ourselves that our life matters, that what we're doing is enough, that we're not wasting time, that we're becoming the person we're supposed to become. Because we live in a world that constantly tells us how that we should be more successful, more fit, more productive, more interesting, more accomplished. And it becomes really easy to look at a normal Tuesday and think, is this it? But really, reality, most of your life is going to be a normal Tuesday. Most of your life is going to be grocery shopping, making dinner, driving home, laughing with a friend, sitting on the couch, taking care of yourself, and having conversations that nobody else ever sees. And those moments count, sis. They count because you were there for them. So, what do we do? How do we step out of this pressure to constantly create a life that looks impressive? The first thing, Awareness. Start noticing when you're doing something because you genuinely want to versus when you're doing something because you feel like you should. Ask yourself, would I still want this if nobody knew about it? Would I still go? Would I still buy it? Would I still try it? Would I still even freaking care? If the answer is yes, well, that tells you something. That means it belongs to you. The second thing is letting yourself enjoy things without needing them to become something bigger. You're allowed to have a hobby that doesn't make any money. You're allowed to take a picture that never gets posted. You're allowed to enjoy a moment without turning it into a memory for everyone else. Not every beautiful thing needs an audience. Some things, they can just be yours. And lastly, I want you to start paying attention to the moments where you feel most like yourself. Not the version of yourself you think you should be, not the version that looks the most successful or curated, the actual you. What makes you laugh? What makes you feel calm? What makes you lose track of time? Those moments are clues. They tell you where you feel connected to yourself. So before we close today, I want us to take our pause together. Take a deep breath in and slowly let it out. Again, breathe in and release. Let your shoulders drop, relax your jaw. Give yourself permission to just be here, just for a moment. And I want you to sit on this question. If nobody could see my life, what parts of it would I still choose? What would I still do? What would I still love? What would still matter to me? Sis, thank you for spending this time with me today and Power in the Pause. If this episode resonated with you, I want you to carry this question with you this week. Am I creating a life that feels meaningful to me or a life that looks meaningful to everyone else? Because a beautiful life isn't measured by how much you can show people. It's not measured by how busy you are, how impressive your accomplishments look, or how many people know what you're doing. A meaningful life is built in the moments that belong to you. The moments nobody applauds, the moments nobody sees, the moments where you choose something simply because it makes you happy. You can share your life without performing it. You can celebrate yourself without proving yourself. You can grow without constantly becoming someone new. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is pause. Until next time, sis.